Today on Locked On Rockies, it's hard to say the Rockies owe the fans this because that's just kind of a weird way of phrasing things. But it'd be sure nice for the Colorado Rockies to go out with a good homestand for the Rockies fans.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock On Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 16th day of September in the year 2025. I'm your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk. Hit my too much. You know, if you've watched the show, you know I'm a bit of a hand talker, so I hit the keyboard there. But anyway, here, Locked On Rockies, 16th of September. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. We're free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of finishing strong on the homestand, asking a question that, you know, in reality seems a bit unlikely, especially with how the season and the bit of the last, especially NL division stretch bit of the season went. Can the Rockies get to 50 wins? It would take probably one of their best stretches of baseball across the entire season, but if they're going to be the strong home team, if they're going to be the team that they've been in the second half, maybe that might set the stage for them to build up to that and maybe spoil some playoff chances on the road to end the season. We'll dive into all of that and more. Plus, we had a question asking what's up with Ryan Feltner, and this won't be much, but it will be a kind of a bummer to confirm that Ryan Feltner was shut down for the season there. So we'll talk a little bit about him as well coming up on today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Before we do that, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. That's the FanDuel app, in case you're curious. Skywalker Actual on X says, I'd like to see the team win more than one game on this final homestand. And I think that sets the stage for kind of, and here's what Jim says. What happened to the team that was 15-17 record after the All-Star break? And where's Dick Monfort? Not a word from the man. Fans deserve a response and accountability. This is a moment here, and it's a small thing, and I go back to my statements that I say all the time. If you are a Rockies fan, ride or die, that likes to go and attend the games and go to games, support the team, watch the team, pay for the streaming services, don't let the people fool you that say that if you're giving the money, you're wasting your time. Because one, that argument doesn't work when you have to consider how many, again, the ultimate thing, when you see the people saying, oh, you need a boycott, you need to do that. Okay, tell that to all of the other people that travel into the state of Colorado to watch their team play the Rockies. Go ahead and tell them first, because when you do that, you're not watching the Rockies. When the blame is placed on the Rocky fan for attending and supporting the team, you haven't been watching enough, because almost, I mean, there's got to be only a few homestands this year that you can say that the Rockies were truly had the vast majority of the people in the stadium cheering for them. When the opposing teams from the division, when the other big market teams, when they roll through, yes. Now, that's not to say that there weren't lots of Rockies fans showing up, and some people might still have issues with that. But the point is, you shouldn't be punished for wanting to support your team. You shouldn't be looked at the problem for wanting to support your team. And you have to look at the fact that this is a moment for the Rockies to reward the fans that have made it this far, because it hasn't. They have made it far from easy. And it's not, and it's, again, my beef, again, the main frustrations, everything that comes down to the core of the stuff that makes me the most mad isn't just about poor execution on the field, isn't about just a poor record, isn't about the strikeouts, isn't about just the starting pitching woes and all these things. It's about the organization as a whole. That's where my issues lie. And for people to look at that and to say the people that actually want to go and support their local team, they're part of the problem, they're part of the issue, they're the reason they're not selling, they're missing the point. They're not understanding that the people that are calling that it goes way deeper than that. And so when this homestand, this is the opportunity for the Rockies to show off, to flex a little bit. This is the Marlins and the Angels we're talking about. And the Marlins are coming in playing good ball. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. We'll revisit that again a little bit today here as well. But it's the Marlins and the Angels. We're not talking about the Dodgers. We're not talking about the Giants. We're not talking about the Padres. We're not talking about the National League West. We're not talking about the division leaders right now. We're talking about two teams that have also struggled this year, that have underperformed in some areas. And again, the Marlins are a bit of an interesting case. A lot of people saying outperforming their expectations, even being in the mix for a bit, and being a team that's been a lot more exciting and fun than people thought this year. But this is a series, and this is a moment for these players to not only kind of give one of their final curtain call about being an impact player at Coors Field at this stage of their evaluation, and their last these are all their last auditions here for what's next for the Rockies and how they build and approach the season next year. But this is a moment for the fans to actually get rewarded a little bit for sticking with it, because it is still impressive. It is still the massive shout outs to the Rockies fans that have stuck through the season. It is far from easy to dedicate your time and spend your money and to be an actual legit supporter of a team that has made it very difficult to support. And I'm not trying to be too, super harsh on the people that are saying the boycott's the way to go. But again, don't say that that fans attending the game are the problem. You're missing the point. Ownership still doesn't have any incentive to sell outside of outside of the attendance. And again, the Rockies are a middle of the pack attendance team. There's a lot more that goes into it. Your anger should be, look at how many people still want to go and support this team. And look at how many people come and travel to go to this ballpark, go to this environment, go to experience baseball here. And you are allowing and enabling the product to be this bad. That's where the anger needs to reside. The anger shouldn't be with the fact that the fans are going to enjoy a cheap event in Denver to go and drink some beers and enjoy an afternoon of baseball. That's the point. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Of course, winning championships and competing is that, but at its core, most of your best Rockies memories are hanging out with friends and family, enjoying a beautiful day at the park. So I'd really love to see the Rockies reward the Rockies fans this series. And I know it's wishy-washy. I know it's not like it's not like this is the groundbreaking analysis of how they're going to do it. But this is a moment where you can kind of, put a stamp on and really signal, hey, it wasn't perfect. But again, you can revisit the fact that we were a better team at home here. The Rockies in series at home. They have now dropped 3 straight series at home. Actually, yes, 3 straight series, because they tied with the Dodgers and they beat the Diamondbacks at home as well before that. But dropping the series to the Cubs, dropping the series to the Giants, dropping the series to San Diego here. If the Rockies are able to pick up these 2 series wins, for example, they'll finish the second half of the season with 4, 5, 6 series wins at home. And that's out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's over 500 in series wins at home. That's going to be that'd be a nice way to cap off the season and give a tip of the cap to the Rockies fans. And not only if you're doing that, you're putting yourself in a position to shake things up in Seattle, which is not going to be easy for the Rockies after seeing this pitching staff firsthand. But you go out, that's going out on a high note. That's going out and bouncing back from a tough previous homestand and going out with some fire, going out with some power, going out with some action to reward the Rockies fans and to just kind of solidify that you're a better team at home, a streaky team at home, but a better team at home in the second half of the season, and lock in some small little area that you could be above 500, even if that's series victories in the second half of the season alone. It's a small thing, but it would be really great to see. And it would be just nice to see the season kind of end on a hot note for guys to go into the offseason feeling strong, feeling confident, feeling good about being a Coors Field athlete. Because with as much unknown and with as much uncertainty that is there with the Rockies, you got to stay hungry if you're on this roster. You got to stay ready to go, because the opportunity for anybody should be wide open. And it'll be interesting to see how the Rockies handle that there. Let me know what you think. Do you think the Rockies, what would a strong homestand to finish the season mean for you as a Rockies fan? Anything? Too little, too late? Totally understand. But if it's a small victory you're looking for, let me know in the Locked On Rockies YouTube comments. I wanted to answer a question from the Locked On Rockies YouTube comments section and continue to preview the Marlins series, as well as take a look and ask the question, can they hit 50 wins? Gonna be tough to do that. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes Nutrafol. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people, and it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root cause of hair thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. You're going to start noticing less shedding and healthier looking hair after using Nutrafol, and you're going to feel comfortable knowing it's NSF certified and backed by peer-reviewed studies. It's simple to add to your day with 4 pills with the mill and no prescription needed. Easy peasy. See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code Locked On MLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Locked On MLB. We're also brought to you by the good folks over at Gametime. There's nothing like catching a baseball game live. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person, but actually getting tickets, that's the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees, takes all the fun out of it. That's why I use Gametime, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Gametime is fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. If you're looking for tickets to go to the Rockies' last homestand here, check out Gametime. See what's available for you. You're going to know exactly where you're sitting because I got the panoramic seat views, and you can know your fees up front because you're going to know your total up front because there's no surprise fees at Gametime. It's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any way that I've bought tickets. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. Locked On Rockies here, back with you for segment number 2 of today's episode of Locked On Rockies. And, it was a bit of a cheesy first segment there, but again, it's one that I'd like to see. I'd like to see Hunter Goodman go out strong here over the last 4 series, put together a good, strong finish to this really great season for him over 2 weeks. I'd like to see Ezekiel Tovar finish strong after snapping his skid there. Cut the strikeouts a little bit. Let's see some improvements here. Go out. This is going to be Freeland's going to be entering his second to last starts here. He'll probably get, let's see, 1, and then, so he's got 3 more starts. Most people probably are looking at about 3 more starts this year for the starters. go out and finish strong, especially Kyle now looking at a situation where maybe they'll skip him because of the double homestand thing and bump him down into the Seattle start like we've seen before. But anyway, go out, do so, go out and show something for the fans. Go out and go out with your head held high, right? I mean, they know they went through this season. They're pushing it down to the wire here to avoid the history that it is, and not to mention everything else that's happened through this year and leading up to this year. But what will be interesting, this will be going into this offseason, and who knows what other change could come to the team. But this will be one with no Bud Black and some changes around here that we'll have to see. Just do what you do to so many Rockies fans and just give them that last little bit of hope. Just the tiniest little thing. Even though I was scrolling around the network here today and saw over on Locked On White Sox, and they're talking about just settling in for the reality of how long the rebuild is. And then it just sets in just how long the madness has been for Rockies fans. How painful and how long this decline has been. So it's the stage is set for the Rockies to be able to really do something and change the course. But as we always know, it's probably not going to happen. In the Locked On Rockies YouTube comments section, RMK says, what's going on with Ryan Felder right now? He's probably the best starting pitcher by stats, but he's been in the minor leagues. Do you know why? He has been hurt and has been shut down. At least this was from RotoWire here. AAA Albuquerque placed Ryan Feltner on its 7-day injured list July 3rd. This was July 30th. So, I mean, this was way back. This is the yeah. So it's but just a bunch of injuries there that have been there. It's a shoulder issue. He had the back issue. So it looks like Ryan Feltner is probably just going to be shut down and done for the season, which is a real shame, a real bummer, because it would have been great to see him take that another step forward. But he'll be in a prime position to be a Rockies player to watch throughout the spring and going into the season next year for someone that could be really stepping forward and trying to establish himself as one of the better, if not the best option that the Rockies have in the rotation. But for him, it's got to be about health, got to be about staying healthy, got to be about getting on the field there and being able to contribute the way that he can contribute. So it's tough to see. Of course, you hate to see that the injuries. The Rockies, unfortunately, have not been able to escape the injuries, especially when it comes to their young pitchers here this year. They have been dealing with quite a bit of that, and an unfortunate and frustrating kind of way to go when you're looking at Chase Dollander, Seth Halverson on there, Zach Agnos on the IL, Luis Peralta as well. All on the injured list there for the Rockies. Let's see if there's even some more here. No, I don't think there's very many more. But the Rockies have not been able to stay super healthy. Of course, Dugan Darnell, on the IL there, getting hurt early on. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything yet because technically not listed on the Rockies injured list. So I wonder what that means for him and what that looks like for him. But Seth Halverson is apparently through, and there might be a possibility for a couple of guys from making their return here, including Peralta as well. But anyway, that's where we're at with Feltner. Of course, a tough to see and a bummer all the way around for that. But man, just kind of going back to what I want to see, man. I would really love to see a nice, solid finish to the season for Kyle Freeland and especially German Marquez too. I mean, really good for these guys, Kyle just to kind of, be that backbone that we're hoping him to be. and for Herman to just kind of set up a better possibility for the offseason here. Yeah, so not unfortunate, or I'm sorry, unfortunately not going to see Ryan Feltner, it looks like here, and we're not going to see some of the other young Rockies arms as well. But plenty of other young Rockies arms listed as the possible starters as well. As this is, again, every opportunity, even in these losses, even if the games are frustrated, for the guys on the field for a young Rockies team, every single one of these at bats matter. Every single one of these games matters to them because it's your audition, right? This is what you got to do, and you got to maximize what you're going to do, especially because are the Rockies just going to are the Rockies just going to run this back and roll it back looking like this? Or are they going to start, entertain the idea of trying to be a little bit of aggressive, bring some talent in around some of these guys and try to jumpstart things a little bit? Don't think they necessarily will do that, but that's kind of the type of stuff you got to keep in the back of your mind. Everything changes. Every season's different. And there's been a lot of moving parts with the Rockies here, and not a lot of people who have completely staked their claim as you got to start me every day type of guys with some of the people getting their auditions this year. All right. As I fight off the big yawn monster there, let's take a quick break, and then let's just take a look at the schedule. Let's let's take a big whiff of hopium, and let's see if the Rockies can do something crazy and get 50 wins. We'll do that coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Before you do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300. Yes, $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Those that can be used for parlays. Those can be used for live betting. Those can be used for taking the money line and backing the Broncos, or building out a multi-team win parlay, or maybe you're interested in those player props. You can see it all for yourself because FanDuel fits however you like to bet. Player props, building a massive same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It's going to make every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Sundays. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app at FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet, and when it wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Check it out at FanDuel.com. All right, let's spin up the hype machine here, the crazy hype machine here. The Rockies only need one win to avoid being the worst team of all time, and they're playing two teams that are currently below 500 coming into Coors Field here. The Marlins are 60-70 going into this series, and the Angels are 69-81. I'm sorry, I think I misread Miami's record there. 70-80. My apologies. 70-80 for Miami there. So 70 wins. That's not too shabby for them. As again, I think the Marlins were a team that I certainly did not have a lot of high hopes for. But let's just zoom in here. The Rockies need 9 wins to get to 50 wins. They have 12 games to do it. It would be pretty massive here. I mean, because what it would require, would require multiple sweeps, and it could be really interesting. Because say, for example, you get a series win here against Miami, and then you sweep the Angels. If the Rockies went into Seattle and swept the Mariners, that would be one of the if the Rockies get to 50 wins, which again, they're not getting to 50 wins, folks. Spoiler, I'm sorry, I'm putting a kibosh on the segment early. But these are the type of opportunities that present yourself to yourself. These are the moments that will be created for the Rockies here, going throughout the rest of these games. You could ruin Seattle's season. You could put the nail in the coffin of the San Francisco Giants, and you could do it on the road. You could go out and you could show, hey, here's a team that loaded up at the trade deadline, did a bunch of stuff, and we just took them down in one of their most important regular season series of the season. There are still moments for this Rockies team to show us something. There are still moments for this Rockies team to get you out of your chair rooting and tooting one more time for the Rockies here. But it's also not going to be easy. When you're looking at these things, the Rockies are going to be in some trouble here against Miami. It might feel a little bit better that they're going up against the Angels here, because I don't feel good about going to San Francisco to finish the season, no matter where the Giants are at. Where are the Giants at currently here? 75 and 74. Where are they in this wild card race? Currently 9 games back right now. Yeah, I'd stick a fork in them at this point. It looks like. No, I'm sorry. That's 9 games back of the West. I did not have that. I was like, that's not right. 9 games is not right. They're only a game and a half. Totally different. Do not stick a fork in them. Totally still in this. I mean, as of recording, they're currently losing to the Diamondbacks, who are technically also only two games out here. So there's still plenty to play for here for these teams that aren't eliminated. The Marlins are technically not eliminated from the postseason here. They're 7 games back. They got to go on a sweeping streak to start something magical to go to the postseason. But you have the opportunity to sink some ships. And if you're these young guys, you have some opportunity to end the season with a bang, to give you some momentum going into the spring, give yourself some momentum into getting an invite into the spring, which most of these guys probably would be. Hard to imagine you'd get a lot of these guys getting consistent playing time or a good chunk of playing time at the major league level and not getting their spring invites. But still, I think that especially this homestand, the road, who knows what will happen on the road? Who knows what will happen in the last 6 games of the season? Because it's going to be tough sledding for the Rockies finishing the season against a good Mariners team, especially at home with a good pitching staff, and then a place that's notoriously hard for the Rockies to play in San Francisco. But they will show us something. They will impress in some ways, and they will show us something that we can say, that was pretty cool. In a season full of not a lot of cool things, racking up 9 wins in their last 12 games to get to 50 wins was pretty cool. And it would show us some stuff about the team. But the reality is, I hope this team does a little bit more than limping to the finish line, especially at home in front of the Rockies fans here, because I don't think they'll be that outnumbered for a late September series against the Marlins and the Angels. I would hope that the Rockies fans are going to be outnumbering the opposition here to finish up the season. But the Broncos have moved in. Preseason for the other sports is along the way. If you haven't forgotten about the Rockies, well, you only got about 4 more series worth of them being on your radar until they fade away, until maybe that week of opening day that keeps you excited. But for the other Rockies fans, enjoy it while we got it, because we will be looking at one point saying, darn it, I wish I could be watching the Rockies right now, as we always do. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day, folks. That's going to do it for us here on Locked On Rockies. Check out Locked On MLB and Locked On MLB Game Night for your second listen of the day, free and streaming and on their podcasts. Make sure you're checking out that. And, of course, Locked On Broncos, Avalanche, Nuggets, Buffs, free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on YouTube as well. Don't miss out on all the Colorado sports coverage we got going on here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Until next time, I'm Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.